Hey everybody, Martin Chuck here for the Divot Board, and in today's video we are going to tackle mid-irons. I've got a 6-iron here. There's a lot of discussion, do you hit down on these mid-irons, long irons, or even hybrids? Well, the ball is sitting on the ground. So if it's sitting on the ground, guess what? You don't want to hit up on it because what's behind the golf ball? Turf or grass. If we hit up on a golf ball, even just a little bit, we give the grass a little bit of a haircut, and we lubricate the face. When we lubricate the face, we basically change the spin profile of the golf ball, and we get inconsistent ball flight. And I know a lot of you don't even think about that. I get it, trust me. But a pro would rather hit a golf ball off of a cart path than out of any kind of deep rough, because the deep rough obviously changes the club face as it passes through that medium, lubricates the face with moisture. The ball comes out, just kind of plops out of there, and it comes out. It's known as a flyer. It's a very tricky shot to judge, whereas if I hit a shot off a cart path, yeah, I might scrape the bottom of my 7-iron or 6-iron a little bit, but I know the spin profile. I know how far it's going to go. That freaks out a lot of amateur golfers, but for a pro, it's honestly no big deal. And I want you to have the precision and confidence I have hitting shots off of tight lies with 6-irons or hybrids, having a subtle downward strike, but really understanding where low point is. Now with the Divot Board, it couldn't be easier. You can practice with or without a golf ball here. I've got my Foresight quad on here. A 6-iron for me, a well-struck 6-iron flies about 175 to 180. And the negotiation of the club, ball, and turf isn't a steep downward strike. I think a lot of the people that get the Divot Board out there are going to find after you hit a shot, the Divot Board is going to jump around a little bit, and you're going to have to replace it every time you swing. Now, maybe if you're on a slick surface, it might be more likely to do that. But if you're on a carpet or a range mat like I am, you'll know if you're actually swinging nicely if the board's not moving around a ton. Like, you can't help but move it a little bit because there's a lot of speed and force relating to the ball on the mat. But if it's jumping around all over the place, then you know that this circle of your swing, that swoosh right there, is too steep down and across, putting too much downward force into the mat. The steeper you get, the less window of opportunity you have for a nice strike. Think about it. Something going straight down doesn't have much time to meet up with the golf ball. Something traveling on a kinder radius into the back of the ball, now you have more time to have a successful shot. So let's hit a little 6-iron, see how we do. I'm not trying to take big divots. Mo Norman, my mentor, bacon strips, not pork chops. So thin little touches, but they have to still be downward strikes. So let's hit a 6-iron out there. So there's a nice strike. Hopefully it goes my anticipated distance. Yeah, so it flew about 180. And I couldn't have done it much better, to be honest, because the club had an interchange with the golf ball right just a fraction past the south pole. So you've got the south pole of a golf ball, you've got the north pole of a golf ball. And we want this golf club to feel like at the bottom of the circle of the club swinging around you on that incline angle can touch the Divot Board at the south pole of the golf ball. And this one was great. That was a nice shot on my target line. It flew 185. It was perfect for me. And if I push these back, we get to do it again. We get to practice with or without a golf ball. Now, things you're going to see, you guys and gals, when you practice. You're going to see path that cuts too excessively outside in. You're going to see some paths that go too straight, or maybe even inside out. Now, here's the thing. That last swing produced a mild inside out path, 2 degrees. That's what I'm looking for. Here's what an inside out path looks like when you use the Divot Board. It looks like this. And you go, well, Martin, that's going to the left. And I say, it sure is. The ball's gone. The golf ball is gone in a blink, 1/2000th of a second. So what happens fractionally after impact? The club is continuing its circular journey. It's traveling down and out onto the ball. The ball is gone. It's got its message from the club. Then the club's brushing the mat, not smashing down on it, in its circular way back up and in. So the geometry lesson here is if I held this club out, held it out, and I just rotated, here's the down and out portion of a swing. But I hit the ball before I get to the very bottom. That would be somewhere an inch or two ahead of the ball, maybe 3. And then as I rotate in my finish, that club's going back up and in. But the ball is contacted before I get to the deepest part, in this case not very deep, but the deepest part of my divot. And think of depth as something like 1/2 inch. That'd be a perfect depth of a divot. A bacon strip, but not something that's 1 inch deep or even less than that. So let's hit another one. A nice 6-iron out there. See if I can replicate that. It was fantastic. Notice I've got a radius and a measure. Hit a little shot. Pretty good strike, maybe not as good as the first one, but the touch points are almost identical. Okay, a little bit of an overdraw, and actually went a little farther than I wanted to because it was a little bit of a hook. But the similar things there with those, the touch point was exactly the same. You want consistency in golf? I know you do, because people come to my golf school, they always say, Martin, if I say, what do you want? Why'd you come to the school? They say, I want to be more consistent. Well, you want to be more consistent? Get yourself a divot board. Learn how to take the circular direction of your swing and get that circle bottoming out at the correct place before you go to your finish, not too far back, not too far ahead, and with a decent approach angle, and you are going to be consistent. You're going to get what you want out of golf. So Martin Chuck is signing off for the Divot Board. Practice with this and you're going to love it.